games. It started on dusty fields with worn gloves and players chasing something bigger than the game.
This is your Progressive Progress in Sports.
Over time, the game evolved. Stronger athletes, smarter strategy, new voices, new legends. Progress isn't instant. It's inning by inning and pitch by pitch. And now, a Progressive ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education, and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC, and here it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps, but it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
This hour of Talkin Ball is brought to you by Talent Heating and Air. When you need service, rely on Talent. From system installations to tune-ups, rely on Talent. Online at talenthvac.com.
ALCert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are our grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. Welcome in. Brand new live edition of Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you may be headed on this Friday. 67 degrees right now. Your high today is set for 81 degrees. Should see the sunshine later today. Going to be a cloudy type of day, but still, nonetheless, 81 degrees your high. Again, safe travels into work, into school. Talent Heating and Air getting us cranked up here on a Friday morning. As always, right out of the gates, they've got talent. That's why they're starting us off this morning. 256-503-4490, talenthvac.com. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, the guys over there, they're live, they're local. And I say local, they are local. You give them a call, they're going to answer the phone. They're going to ship you off somewhere across the country and then ship you back and all that other stuff. Good guys. Good salt of the earth guys. Talent Heating and Air, talenthvac.com. Got a lot of stuff to get through today. A lot of stuff. College basketball. Final Four gets underway tomorrow. NIT semifinals last night. We got to talk about that. We got plenty of college football news. Conference championships coming and going. Maybe we don't know. Josh Pate sat down with Kalen DeBoer. We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer, but we'll also hear from Josh Pate later in the show. We're going to hear, hopefully, from all four Final Four coaches. Each of them talked about something uniquely different. It was kind of interesting. They all had some points to say. You know, Illinois talked about going overseas. UConn talked about playing. They don't show up just to play for banners. They play for rings, not watches. It's interesting. We'll hear from all four of those head coaches. Size does matter at the Final Four. We'll explain all that. We got a lot of stuff to get through. But last night, NIT semifinals, historic Hinkle Fieldhouse in Illinois. Come on, Scott. In Indianapolis. The Auburn Tigers last night looking to get to the finals of the NIT, and they didn't mess around. You know, Illinois State had come in feeling pretty good, a little Cinderella run through the NIT, but Auburn and Keyshawn Hall left no doubt that they are playing some of their, maybe, I don't want to say their best basketball, but they're playing really good basketball right now. They got 24 points from Keyshawn Hall. As a team, they knocked down 12 three-pointers. They rout Illinois State last night, 88-66. Kevin Overton was 5 of 5 from behind the arc. Sebastian William Adams made all 3 of his three-pointers. Overton, 16 points. Philippe Jovic, 13. Tahad Petterford, 12. Game-high 5 assists. So Auburn will move on to the NIT championship game where they will take on Tulsa Sunday at 7 p.m. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone will have that game for you Sunday night, 7 p.m. They're going to move that one to the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It's going to be moved to the home of the Indiana Pacers because remember, I believe on Sunday, it's a big day for college basketball in Indianapolis because, if I'm not mistaken, I need to double check. I believe the Division II National Championship game is also on Sunday at Gainbridge. The NIT championship game is Sunday at Gainbridge. You got your Final Four on Saturday, and then the national championship game will be on Monday. So they're playing it all in Indianapolis. And I believe the Division II one is on Sunday. I think it's early. I think it's like at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something.
It's either Saturday or Sunday because it may be even Saturday because sometimes they have it on before the Final Four and the coverage. You'll have to look that up, but I haven't even kept up with who's in it. It's probably Nova.
No, Nova got beat in the semis. I knew we were cheering for joy when they got beat.
Uncle, their cousin, and their other brother Daryl wasn't officiating, so they're not in the finals.
Yeah, they are not. They are not in the no.
Well, then that may be the last game for homeboy because he told Steve he was retiring.
No, he's not retired. He told us there in Pittsburgh that he'll see us in Huntsville. He'll see us in Huntsville. He was joking,
I heard at first he said you won't because I'm retiring. So I thought, well, typical.
Yeah, I was right. The championship game is on Sunday at 1 o'clock, Gannon and Lander, and then that leads into the NIT championship game on Sunday night.
The sequel, but whatever. Yeah, I knew it was sometime in the afternoon. It's always on the weekend, and it's in the afternoon. And then and again, it's cool that they're getting a chance to be on the ground in the Final Four vicinity. Now, I think it's kind of stupid that they make them wait a week before playing it or whatever the hell it is. I think they should have just played when the women did. And then, play it in Pittsburgh. I don't understand moving it somewhere else. And then if you're going to do that, then move the women there too. I don't get it.
Why let the women play?
I think it's stupid. I know what they'll say. Well, we're giving the women a showcase. Well, I think it should be a Division II showcase for both the men and the women.
How cool would that have been? You played, kept the NIT there at Hinkle. You put the 2 Division II games there.
And honestly, what they ought to do is it ought to be both the men and the women. So you don't have to keep having one day of prep, and then you can have a week to play in what is the biggest game of the year in the national championship game. To me, that would be the best case scenario. Have the men and the women play in the city of the Final Four on the same day. Play it at like 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever. Play the women's game and then the men's game, and I think that would be good for Division II basketball, and it would give coaches an extra, several days of prep because it's the biggest game of the year. I mean, you're playing for history, you're playing for a national championship, and so I think that's what they ought to do, and it would give the Division II a big showcase, and in that way you would be, you're certainly not the main event, but you're there along with every other, I know they've got the WNIT, the NIT, and all this stuff, and then they've got the WBIT, whatever the hell it is. They've got these other tournaments, but the main one besides the NCAA is the NIT.
Because it's the oldest.
Been that way, and so now that they're starting to have the NIT, Final Four, in the vicinity of the Final Four, which is not a bad thing because for years it was Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, New York. They moved it to Vegas, I think, for maybe a year, and now they're starting to do this, which I don't think is a bad thing. Then, pretty much the center of the college basketball world, especially from a Division I and Division II perspective, would be where the Final Four is. And then that way it's the biggest stage for those particular divisions. And you get a chance, if you're in the NIT and you're not playing, for a national championship, but you're still playing for a trophy, and you're still in that mecca, in that epicenter where everything's going on.
Yeah. Well, Auburn does reach the NIT finals last night again. Keyshawn Hall
played their best game of this run so far. I mean, they absolutely crushed Illinois State. They shot the heck out of it. The price keeps going up for Kevin Overton if you want to retain him, or if some other school wants to come after him.
I guess that's the good thing and bad thing about this deep run, isn't it? That some players picked up some paydays, and if the season ended by not making it to the tournament, as you hear on TV all the time, tournament. Some of the runs you probably get players cheap, but not now.
And now the Lion season continues. Now it's been. 2 weeks ago, Ty Simpson was all the way up to the 3rd overall pick, and now Mo, Larry, Curley, and Shemp and all these other idiot analysts on ESPN, most of them that suck, are saying that Ty Simpson they walked away not thinking he was a first-round pick.
Oh, come on! I mean, look. Don't buy into anything that you're seeing right now. I mean, yesterday he was in the top. I mean, This is going to be that season where you're going to be up and down one day. It's like the stock market.
It's what Mike Detillier called it, lying season.
Yep.
The analysts lie to you. Because the agents tell the analysts things, and they're all lying to each other. And then I'll just give me Merrill Hodge, and I'll just the old saying is. Going into the SEC tournament, it was Florida or the field. We all took Florida. We were wrong. Well, in this, you want to give me the field or Merrill Hodge? I'll take Merrill Hodge.
You think a lot of people took Florida in this field
No, I'm talking about the SEC tournament.
Oh, the SEC tournament. Yes.
Everybody took Florida.
Yes.
And then Vandy said, hold my beer.
100% agreed.
And who knows? I haven't even heard Merrill's opinion of Ty Simpson. I don't know. But it's so funny that these idiots spent a month telling you how good he looked in the combine and that he was a lock for the first round. He was rocketing up the board. And then he has his pro day, and after his pro day, they say it's great, but then 3 days after the pro day, but he's not a first-round pick, guys. He doesn't have a big enough body of work. Well, neither did some Mitchell Trubisky and some other guys either. But I mean, do I think he's a first-round pick? I do. Do I think he's a top 15 pick? I don't. But I think he'd be a very solid pick, 20 to 32. That's just me.
We have more body of work from Ty Simpson than we did Trey Lance.
Hell, we've got more body of work than we really do with Mendoza. He had one great year with Indiana. What the hell did he do before that? He was just solid at Cal, but he was great with Indiana. And what their excuse is, but he started 2 years at Cal and 1 year at Indiana, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but he also played in a system that, as far as for development, isn't any good because it's RPO-based. And I still think Mendoza's going to do fine.
So the odds of by DraftKings Sportsbook for Ty Simpson's draft position right now is 24.5. So the 24th pick is where they're.
So is that a first round pick, Scott? Is that a yes or no question?
Well, let's see here. Judging by the amount of teams in the NFL,
and if there's 32 first round draft picks,
just barely. Yeah.
And these moranathons are trying to tell you all morning that he's not a first-round pick.
He's a minus 205 to be taken in the first round is Ty Simpson, according to DraftKings. Now, that is subject to change.
Wish Chris Mortensen were still here.
Oh, but don't worry. If you're tired of whether or not Ty Simpson is going to be picked, you only have 20-some days to worry about it because the dadgum draft isn't until April 23rd. You've got 20 days. It's way too early to get consumed by this. Way too early because things are going to change a million times.
Yeah.
I just don't know where they're going to put all the people in Pittsburgh. I'll just say that. I know where they're doing the drafts after seeing it in person and seeing where they're going to do everything. I don't know where they're going to put everybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's going to be tight. You're going to be squeezed in like sardines.
I mean, based on what you and Steve told me after having to do it for nearly a week, you know that old I guess that old riff off that rap song, "Tired of the Police in the Hood."
Yeah,
guess that's what y'all were tired of, huh?
Well, on the news when we were up there, they were trying to convince everybody there was going to be some kind of, what is this whole youth takeover thing where the kids just take over things and like show up in force, I don't know, in the streets? Or have you seen this where
flash mobs?
But I don't know. It's
that's
like all
what
these
they call it, like a flash mob.
There was a huge kid fight. There was there was a big fight downtown like 4 days before we got there.
Yeah.
And then there was going to be some kind of I don't know, protest kid, 17, 18-year-old kids trying to take over the streets or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there were news stories about that. Look, it's not on my vacation list to go back there by any stretch. I will if I have to because the food was good. But it's not on my list of places to go back to.
Gotcha.
I'll just say that. It was fun to walk around in the daytime. I enjoyed it. All right, we've got to get a break in. When we come back, talk some college football as well. Conference championship game talk was a buzz yesterday. Greg Byrne, Kirby Smart, talking about that. We'll fill you in on that. Josh Pate sat down with Kalen DeBoer. We can hear from Kalen DeBoer. We got Final Four coaches to hear from. We got a lot of stuff, folks. We've only just begun. Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zoom.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Now is the time to sign up for the Eagle Installation WZZN Charity Golf Tournament to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This year's event is the morning of April 20th at Cherokee Ridge, and each member of the winning team not only gets the championship belts, but a full year membership to Cherokee Ridge. Breakfast and lunch are provided, plus tremendous prizes and a chance to win $100,000. Cost is $800 a team or $200 per individual, and corporate sponsorships are available. Send an email to 977WZZN events@gmail.com to reserve your spot today.
When When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars? 3 end-zone sports bars. And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. End Zone Sports Bar.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Kern Electrical, where teamwork powers every project. Our champion sales team takes time to understand your needs, tailoring the perfect Generac generator for your home or business. Our project managers handle all coordination, ensuring a tackle-free installation. Our certified installation crews ensure peace of mind, even in the darkest moments. With our service and maintenance lineups, you can be assured we're with you every step of the way. Experience the home team advantage of Kern Electrical, your Generac Superstore.
Most current way to keep your power on. GeneracSuperstore.com.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Well, put me on the stand and raise up my right hand. Bring a stack of Bibles 10 feet high.
Little Microwave Dave and the Nukes honoring the Huntsville legend today. We lost him back in February.
That's right.
And if you are no stranger to the Huntsville music scene, Microwave Dave was an icon, to say the least, here in the city of Huntsville. So today, just honoring Microwave Dave all day as we come back from each break. Just something to say thanks. So there you go. College football. A lot of stir yesterday. I guess you could call it a stir. Greg Byrne telling USA Today that he believes the SEC championship game should be no more in college football. Says to the USA Today, and I quote, "I think the ship has sailed. It's run its course." Greg Byrne telling USA Today that of the SEC championship game. And, of course, the SEC championship game started in 1992. We all know that. Alabama, Florida, Legion Field, worked its way to Atlanta. He says, "I think it's a great event. I don't like the idea of it going away, but I think it's reality with an expanded playoff."
Well, it definitely would be if they went to 24. We would see if it went to 16. I've always said it would stay around, and so with the others because of the money. But if the playoff did expand to 24, which would be stupid, but if it does become that big, then I don't think there's any question all conference championship games would disappear, and you would go back to the old school way. And what I mean by that, pre-1992, the SEC champ was a regular season deal. In most cases, you had an outright winner. Sometimes it would be a tie or whatnot. And you would hope that they would have played each other and that could break the tie. But with a 16-team league, I mean, my goodness, last year, I mean, look how many ties there was a year ago. I mean, people forget, but Alabama actually was the 1 seed with the tiebreakers, even though they limped into the game, and Georgia certainly handled them because they had beaten Georgia during the regular season. So I would hate to see it go too, but I mean, I think this is again more positioning about the playoff. I don't think it's a certainty that it would go away if you go to 16. Now Kirby Smart went on the record and felt like it probably would.
Yeah, he said he's staunchly, Kirby Smart said he is staunchly in favor of an expanded playoff, and if the playoff does expand, that he'd be okay with eliminating the SEC championship game. And is he the biggest voice in the SEC now as far as coaches go?
I guess you could say that. I mean, since they don't think Steve Sarkisian belongs on hot seats.
But Kirby Smart has been to the SEC championship game the most. I
actually almost did a Texas yesterday on the air. I was on the air at Full Moon Barbecue with the Drive and I almost puked. And I guess that was because
because you were on with the Drive, and not because you were eating Full Moon.
I was not eating Full Moon either. I was hammering Diet Dr. Pepper, and I guess it went down the wrong windpipe. And so, I felt like Texas.
Choking?
Mm-hmm.
You could.
And see, because, I'm going to ask Josh Pate this and say, and it's ironic, he was watching Alabama and Texas softball yesterday. Like, why is there not more buzz that Texas is, gotta not gag this year? I guess people may think that they're gag proof because of how much money they've spent and all the Hollywood Smothers and the Raleek Browns and the Cam Colemans, but they spent $40 million last year and almost lost to Kentucky and Mississippi State, and that was my point yesterday. I mean, they were lucky to beat those two, not to lose to those two, and lose 6 games.
Right.
And like I said, and I'll bring it up again, and it's only out of mutual respect for the guy. He's one of our sponsors. But it's like I said yesterday on the Drive. If Steve Sarkisian had lost to Kentucky and Mississippi State, and that team had lost 6 games, I think some of the reason he's not getting a lot of criticism is their portal class, which they went out and bought, and then because Arch Manning did improve as the year went on. He actually brought him back in both those games, especially the Mississippi State game. And the biggest thing is they beat Texas A&M, the Auburn of Texas, and then they turned around and won their bowl game. So in effect, they did finish strong, even though they didn't make the playoff. So I think that's one reason why he's not getting the criticism Kalen DeBoer's getting, even though Kalen DeBoer actually made the playoff and won a game. Sark did not. He had made the playoff the previous 2 years, and won games. But still, I mean, it's one of those things where I told the guys on the Drive last night, if he had lost to Kentucky and Mississippi State, Brian Bellamy would have another salesman at his insurance company. So that, in my opinion, that's he might have been out at Texas and be somebody or somebody's offensive coordinator. They might have just bought him out and slid him out the dough.
Again, Josh Pate will join us at the top of the second hour as we get his thoughts on several things around college football, because it just seems like we're either missing it a lot or people are just wanting to create something, because we have the conference championship talk, you have the expanded playoff talk, you have the SEC Big Ten talk. I mean, there's just, we keep finding things to talk about when it comes to college football right now.
Yeah.
256-576-4977. That's how you can join us here on a Friday morning. Don't forget, coming up this morning at 11:30 over at Charger Park, they will dedicate the fields to Les Studeman, as it already is Les Studeman Field, but it'll officially be official today at 11:30.
I mean, it feels good out there. It looks like it's going to be a hopefully a great atmosphere and very well-deserved honor that's made officially official with Les Studeman having the facility named after her 30 years of service and being the founder and just the patriarch of UAH softball. She did it all. I mean, she created the program. There's no other thing you can say, and she did everything professionally as a coach that you can do and then you can accomplish except for winning a national championship, which she came close to doing twice. So she is the GOAT of UAH softball and always will be. I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, the reason they have the brand that they have in that sport is solely because of her and the great players she recruited. But when you're the founder of a program and you have the run she had, and again, make no mistake, in my opinion, she could have left and gone the Division I route in some form, but she decided not to. And so her loyalty was outstanding, and then her impact on this community is immeasurable.
Yeah. I was just laughing because they had John Kruk was doing some baseball commercial
but
they listed him as a baseball legend.
Well, I mean,
I know it was for a Car Shield or whatever, but they had John Kruk, baseball legend, and I was like,
John will play that up to the hilt.
Is he a baseball legend? I don't know. I don't know why I was thinking of that
in a funny way. I mean, it's just like when he was still playing, and he was still playing when I was growing up,
right?
And John, he didn't believe much in calisthenics and fitness. He was a baseball player, and he was having pregame ho-hos on the field, and some fan dressed him down because he was eating a ho-ho, and he's like, "Lady, I'm not an athlete. I'm a baseball player." You know what I'm saying? Like I can eat ho-hos and still go out and hit a baseball.
And he'd have a mouthful of.
Oh yeah, the chew.
Yeah.
Like everybody remembers the Randy Johnson at bat in the All-Star game where he turned his helmet backwards because he was scared to death. I mean, and I thought back in the day that John was a good broadcaster. Now, he decided to get out of broadcasting. And, of course, ESPN, anybody that was any good, they're going to get rid of. So, that's basically where they stand right now in many cases. There's only a handful of them left that, have a pulse. But still, it's one of those things where you miss John Miller, even though he's still, calling Giants games. You miss, the late Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
You miss, John Kruk. You miss some of those guys. And let's not forget, ESPN's about to get out of the baseball business if they're not out of it already in the entirety, So we'll see. As far as Major League Baseball, anyway, not
ESPN?
Yeah.
No, they've redone. They're renegotiating. I don't think they're going to get out of it. I think they're going to increase.
Oh.
I think. Yeah.
Shows you how much I watch ESPN Major League Baseball.
Yeah, they're renegotiating a bunch of stuff.
They were going to step away. That was the big announcement last year.
Yeah.
That they were stepping away, and then we see the Braves vision, which they shellacked the Diamondbacks, and the Braves vision package has been redone. But actually, so far, I think it's probably maybe beneficial for Atlanta. They got more control now.
Let's get a break in 7:30. When we come back, we will get out to the phone lines. Plus, we'll hear from Kalen DeBoer. We got a lot of stuff to get through yet. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN. now into some ESPN roles during the college football season, but he still has his Josh Pate show, and traveling the country is still something he does.
No, I mean, he's become one of the foremost voices in our sport. We watched his pick segment just about every week here as we have ESPN on televisions, and we are, of course, an ESPN affiliate and radio station. And he also has his stuff that he does with On3 and with Yahoo. He wears many hats, but
yes,
we respect his opinion as much as anyone in college football. He is the de facto future commissioner of the sport, and it is Josh Pate, and he just is coming off a trip to Tuscaloosa yesterday, and we wanted to talk some Alabama football and college football with one of the best. Josh, welcome back. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm good, but that bio makes it sound like I'm up at 4 a.m. grinding every day, and the sad reality of things is that I have barely opened the curtain on the hotel room this morning thus far. So it is after 8 a.m. Central, and I am one of the bigger underachievers that have appeared on this show in recent memory. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well.
good.
I mean, come on, man. You've had a YouTube channel since 2010 in some form. When you're over 179 million views, that's pretty good.
But it just makes you think, could we have gotten to 180 had I woken up earlier this morning?
Well, how did you enjoy the softball first and foremost? You had a great seat.
All right. So I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this, but college football is my number one sport in the world.
Yes.
College softball is number two for me.
Yeah.
It's up there above basketball. It's up there above a lot of the other things that would traditionally be number two. But I never get to go see it in person. So yesterday we wrapped up with DeBoer, and I got done at the facility, and we knew Texas was going to be in town, so you got a top 5 matchup there. And some friends of ours got us great seats over there. Had never been to a game at Rhodes before.
Wow.
So
okay,
that was a good introduction to that environment. And man, look, Alabama's got a good squad.
Yeah,
Texas is a unit this year.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I mean, woof. I was going to ask your impression again.
College softball, though, is so entertaining.
Yeah, it's
so the
outstanding.
game moves fast.
Yeah.
It's energetic.
Great atmospheres.
Yes, it's everything you want.
I think a lot of what people say they love about sports in general, like if you were to take the average person, say, give me the characteristics, give me the things, the traits that you love about sports. For me, like outside of football, which is a world unto its own, softball best encapsulates all of the other things that I would say I love about sports. And I think anyone who knocks that statement probably hasn't paid a whole lot of attention to women's college softball, because I love that sport, and I don't know that many people have watched it and walked away saying, oh, man, it just really didn't do it for me.
And you still play. That's another thing.
Yeah, at a slightly different level than those girls were last night. But, we try and do a little something in the church leagues on Friday night up in Nashville.
There you go. Well, you had a chance yesterday, and you've been bouncing around the college football landscape. But yesterday you stopped in Tuscaloosa and did visit with Kalen DeBoer. Just a takeaway from that conversation.
Well, I heard enough that I'm going to stick around and go watch the scrimmage today, because there are a lot of players that I want to get eyes on, specifically offensive line, but not just like, ooh, is everything fixed there? I think that there is a whole lot that goes into quote unquote fixing a run game that you really don't appreciate until you talk with coaches about it or you get the full picture on it. So, I think the first thing is, all right, I want to feel how much teaching is going on along that offensive line, because there's a big difference in hearing people yelling a lot and there being commands shouted a lot versus there being real high-level instruction going on. And I go back a long, long ways about thinking that. Some of the biggest hiccups that I think you suffer if you're a coach is you start trying to instruct rather than teach. And college football players are not finished products. It may be a little different in the NFL, but college football players are not finished products. I think they placed a premium on that concept, really across the staff, but specifically along the offensive line. They, for obvious reasons, feel really, really good about what they have in the secondary. I think one of the other things to just watch here is offensively, who are your leaders? You know, Ryan Williams should be that, really. He's got some of the most mileage now out of anyone that they're going to start over there. And, you know, sometimes, as you guys well know, some of your I'm not talking about Ryan here, but in general, sometimes some of your players that have the most minutes logged are not necessarily the ones that are maybe your vocal guys and not necessarily the ones that the locker room gravitates around. Now, in an ideal world, your quarterback is that, but they don't have a starting quarterback yet. They probably have 2 starting caliber quarterbacks, but don't have a starter named yet. So that's an interesting dynamic to watch. And also, whether it's Austin Mack or Keelan Russell, one of the things to pay close attention to, I think, is just the overall velocity on their balls that allows them to make certain kinds of throws that open up other facets of the offense. It's something that is very overlooked. You don't ever think about how, you know, the velocity with which your QB can throw a 15-yard far hash out route impacts the run game. But it does, and it impacts how much a corner is comfortable squatting on slant routes and in-breaking routes. And all that stuff opens up a run game. How wide or compacted your splits are because of how good you are protecting on the edge. That impacts the run game. So there is no stone being left unturned in that building to improve that run game. I can promise you that.
Well, and it's obvious just from watching your conversation that the one thing everyone was the most concerned about with Alabama after they ended the season last year and the way they were mauled by Indiana was the offensive and defensive lines. You just mentioned the offensive lines, but it was when you were talking to Coach yesterday, it seems as though the emphasis of the entire offseason, and you would hope so, was improving both the offensive and defensive lines. And I know they've gone heavy in the portal on the D-line as well.
Yeah, they did, and that's what I'm interested to see today. I'll go over there and watch them today because I didn't get to see any work there. Obviously, yesterday's a non-practice day. So, I've heard Kane, Womack, and those guys talk about what they have there, but yeah, I'm not sitting here saying, oh man, I just see right through that. I think they're lying, but you always want to have your own eyes on it. So, just size, just overall size, I want to see. And you know what else is funny? You think back to last year, it's always so easy in hindsight to figure out why something happened the way it happened. But I was thinking about the Florida State game yesterday after just talking to some people around there, and you're trying to assess, why did everything happen the way it happened? Man, we really, in retrospect, undersold the impact of a lot of injuries that were happening leading up, and a lot of guys who were coming back from surgeries or coming back from injuries that maybe weren't quite ready to start the season. And then, who was it? Was it Overton? Somebody the week of that game, or is James Smith, I think, the week of that game is hurt. He's going to be out. And all of a sudden, I think you got London Simmons starting on the nose as a true freshman week 1. And you're just thinking about it like, oh, well, they'll still be all right. It's just Florida State. And that's not the way that game went that afternoon. And the reason I'm mentioning him is he's going to be one of those guys in that rotation now. But, just raw size. And specifically, like what Indiana was able to do, what Georgia was able to do, because you lacked it there. I'm really interested to see how different they look in the interior.
Well, yeah, we kind of listened to and played some of the clips there from your interview with Kalen DeBoer, and I thought it was interesting too that you mentioned James Smith. James Smith leaves, goes to Ohio State, and Kalen DeBoer talks about the fact that when it came time for NIL, it came time to bring guys in, came time to figure out what they wanted to do, they didn't overspend. They had to pick the right guys and do the right value as far as NIL goes.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. You know, when you're used to thinking about the sport one way, and then it sort of shifts track on you. It is a very, very different world when you are in the thick of a playoff race in November versus when it's the middle of signing season or it's the middle of portal season. Because really, when it comes time for the stretch run, all you really want is you want a team that plays together, plays fast, plays physical, assignment sound. You want something that looks like what Indiana had last year. That's really what you want. And it could very well be that they have taken an approach that is going to put them right on track to be that in November. And sometimes that approach means letting a guy or two walk, or maybe bowing out of a recruitment or a portal recruitment that you think's just kind of gotten off the rails in terms of dollars and cents. And that ain't fun to do, and it's not fun to watch as a fan in January. But if you're sitting there en route to 11-1, headed to Atlanta in November, well, then it's really fun. And that's really where it comes down to how much do you trust the people who are running your program? How much do you trust the process, but also trust the vision and the plan? And that's where, if you listen to the convo that I had with him yesterday, he talks about the guys they got out of the portal and how intentional they were about who they targeted, but also what they targeted. And the one thing they're really big on is they went and got a bunch of captains from other teams. Some of them were from the level like Virginia Tech, all the way down to like Cal Poly and everything in between. But they went and got a bunch of captains and a bunch of established leaders from other teams. And obviously they're going to meet a minimum baseline of physical ability and physical characteristics, or they're not at Alabama. But that's one of those things to just bookmark, because we're in April, and then let's revisit it once everyone's made their spring opinions. Let's revisit it in October or November, when you are going to have two things happening out there. You're going to have Alabama's approach and then their result, and then you're going to have the approach of a lot of much bigger spenders, and we'll see what their results are.
And we're talking to Josh Pate College Football Show on 3 ESPN, Yahoo Sports. And I will say one other thing I took from it, and it's not surprising. I know you asked about the quarterback position. I even think they're definitely not going to decide till August, but I think this could even go into the first game or two of the season. I brought up the A.J. McCarron, Phillip Sims battle from in the Saban era in 2011, because it seems like both guys are really stepping forward. I've heard a lot of good things about Mac, but I think we've all seen Keelan Russell's talent as well.
Yeah, I would bet, as of now, that's probably where I'd lean with it going to. Definitely don't expect anything decided in spring.
Yeah.
And now this is me. Let me be very clear. This is kind of me and you speculating amongst ourselves more so than something I've been told. But I would envision that thing, unless it's really emphatic, I would envision that thing maybe going into week one. That's the benefit you have of their schedule setting up the way it does. And also, we can think back. You don't even need to think about Alabama. Think about Ole Miss as recently as last year.
Yeah.
They're really quick to name Austin Simmons the starter, and no one even complained or no one even debated it. It's just Austin Simmons is our starter. Okay, well, he wasn't the best quarterback on your team. and you're Lane Kiffin, and you don't realize that. I mean, I think back to what it took for Dan Mullen to put guys in once upon a time. And these are guys whose opinions I trust at the quarterback position, and it just goes to show you it's really not a proven, settled science out there when it comes to naming a starter. But what it does do is, if you do wait until the season and you do wait for live bullets action, and that to provide the evidence of who your starter needs to be, that's pretty irrefutable, firstly. And secondly, when a guy definitively emerges in live action, it's the kind of jolt to your team that you could not possibly replicate with 1,000 hype videos or pregame speeches. That does something to a team, because it lets them know our final piece just got locked into place. Now we're set.
Mm-hmm. Josh Pate, kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Josh, you visited with Kalen DeBoer, but you've also had a chance to visit with other coaches. One of them, our good friend from right here in Huntsville, and that is Florida head coach John Summerall. Your impressions when sitting down talking with John?
Yeah, what he did was what I expected whoever got the Florida job to do. Because I've talked to you guys on this show about this topic a couple of times. I told you I liked Billy Napier when he was there. I wanted him to succeed. It ended up not working out. But I told you guys, and I've said this probably 1,000 times collectively, if he doesn't win there, if Billy Napier didn't win there, it wasn't going to be because they didn't have a bunch of the right people in the building and they didn't have the proper infrastructure, because that place was really, really incredible, and they were loaded with high-level people. So what I thought was the person who gets that job is going to walk in thinking they need a clean house. And then they're going to look around the house and say, wait a second, I like a whole lot of this. Well, sure enough, Summerall, and I remember talking to him in the lead up to him taking the job and then him getting the job. And the one thing I said was, hey, before you walk in there and just burn it all down, you may want to take a look around. And so then you fast forward a few months, and we're down there, and I'm walking around the building, and there are a lot of Billy Napier's people in that building, not in terms of on-field coaches, but the support staff, the people whose names you really wouldn't know all that much unless you were inside the program. And I asked him on air, and he said, yeah, it was exactly that. We came down here, and we start doing interviews with people, and we realize a lot of the best people are already in the building. And I'm not saying that sets them up to go 10-2 this year. I do think it sets them up to where they don't have to restart. There's a lot of that program that already works. And if there's going to be some surprise team out there that is a little better this year, maybe than the public's going to expect, maybe it's Florida. But then also the other thing, and this is, I don't mean this to be a knock on Billy. It just kind of is what it is as an observation. I've been to a few Florida practices in recent years, and I went to one while I was down there. I actually had a buddy with me who's never seen any of it, and he walked in, and his first comment was, I cannot believe the energy level out here right now, just on this field right now. I cannot believe this, like a shock to the senses. And he asked me, is this normal? And I said, well, for Florida, no, unfortunately. It's not been the norm. And that's just, Billy Napier tried the best way he knew how. This is John Summerall trying the best way he knows how. It just feels different around Summerall. That counts for 0 wins and 0 losses, by the way. But all we have to go on so far is feel and observations and words and stuff. I don't think, though, that I don't think Florida's nearly as far off as some of these other places that had to hit the restart button. I'll just say that.
And my final question, we'd be remiss, but I know you sat down with him 2 weeks ago. Speaking of a different vibe and a reset, you sat down with him for an extended conversation. Your thoughts on the new era at Auburn with Alex Golesh taking over for Hugh Freeze?
So I remember during the coaching search, I think I spoke to you guys, and I was of the opinion that Auburn was really botching their coaching search. And I wasn't wrong. They did botch it. However, much like Penn State, who also botched the coaching search, they ended up – Penn State landed the best possible candidate for their job.
Agreed with that. Yes.
I think Auburn landed a really, really good sort of puzzle piece fit. Alex's personality and who he is, if you know him, and then Auburn as a football program, as a university, as a culture, if you know it, really, really good fits there. And the one thing that I think anybody's going to ask when you're getting a head coach from the G5 level is, oh, man, is he cut out for this caliber football, and is he going to be overwhelmed? The first question I can't answer. No one can until he starts proving himself on the field. But the overwhelmed part, I knew he wouldn't be overwhelmed by it because Alex Golesh has had a plan for when this happened really since the day he was a head coach and really even before that. So I don't know how to say this. Like I know in terms of years, he is still a relatively young or relatively new head coach. He doesn't strike you that way. He strikes you as a guy that's been around the block several more times than he's actually been around the block. And the other place where that really pays dividends is knowing who can meet the bar, whether it's a player or a coach. When you're elevating to this level of football, Summerall's talked about it before. There's certain guys you got to leave behind because they just, to be blunt, they're good enough to coach at Troy, but they're not good enough to coach at Florida. Or with Alex, they're good enough to be at USF, but they're not good enough to be at Auburn. I think he is really, really good at knowing how to spot that. And I also think he's really good at cutting through BS. And he is not a guy, and this is really important for Auburn, he is not a guy who's afraid to very politely but sternly tell you, all right, well, I don't need you then. You're going to put 15 demands or 15 caveats on your support for this program. It's all well and good. I'll see you down the road. And that's really important to be able to do because if you can't do that, people will run over you at this level.
Wow.
Well, this has been great to reconnect, Josh. We know how busy you are.
We didn't even get to ask you about Steve Sarkisian in Texas and and how much pressure they're going to be feeling to win it this year because of.
Well, I'll just ask. We haven't talked to you in a while. You have sat down with Sark. I have been kind of mystified. I understand Kalen DeBoer, they talk about how much pressure he's under, and he's got to win big at Alabama, got to take the next step. But Sark's team was supposed to be number one last year. They underachieved. They've spent a ton of money in the offseason. They look like they got a great roster. I don't hear a lot of hot seat talk with Sark. What's your temperature after talking to him?
Well, so this year I won't go out there until 3 weeks from now, I think.
Okay.
So, but you guys have teed me up perfectly for my first question to be basically, who do you think you are? What gives you the right? Those will be my first two questions. I do think there are two different kinds of pressure in this sport. There's job security pressure, that's the hot seat stuff. Mm-hmm. And then there's just what I call competitive pressure, kind of like Ryan Day had a couple years ago, where it's not really realistic to think a guy's going to get fired. However, it is realistic to say this is his best shot to ever get over the hump, whatever the hump is. And if he doesn't, then there are much bigger picture conversations that we're about to have. And it's really what you work to do. You work to get yourself in position to win it all. But it's a tightrope walk. It's like walking on a razor's edge, because there are one or two big plays, there are one or two one-possession games, there are one or two turnovers that are going to happen over the course of a season that will determine whether people think you're good enough, you're cemented now, your legacy is set, versus he's never going to get it done here. We're going to have to start looking for someone else.
Well, great stuff.
Yep.
You're the best in the business. Let everybody know how to follow your Josh Pate College Football Show, the YouTube channel, and all your socials, man. And we really appreciate the conversation and enjoy the scrimmage later today in Tuscaloosa.
Well, I'm looking for sunscreen as we speak. So if anyone wants to tell me where I can find that in downtown Tuscaloosa, that would protect me and do me more help than anyone Google searching anything at this moment.
Well, the Josh Pate College Football Show, check it out on YouTube. The content is outstanding. It's unlike any in the country. If you love the sport of college football, and we know Josh Pate does, and we really treasure the relationship. Thank you, sir, and enjoy your day in T-Town.
I appreciate it, guys.
All right, thanks. Josh Pate, kind enough to spend some time with us. Let's get a break in, shall we? That was fun. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are a grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Well, I'm your body and fender man. Let me pound out your dents. Oh, Michael.
coaches of his generation. He did it. You want to know how he did it? Because he had shoulder, because he wanted to prove himself.
Still has it.
And so
I think he still has a chip on his shoulder.
He does. He still does. He wants to prove he's the best. And I mean, this is a guy that he was risen so high in the profession so fast. He was like his dad. He was coaching on the high school level not even 10 years ago, basically. Well, it's over 10 now because it's hard for me to fathom that he's been at UConn 8 years. But he did a great job at Rhode Island. I watched him coach against Alabama. You think he had the size at Rhode Island he's got now at UConn?
No.
Hell no.
No.
But he almost beat Avery Johnson because who didn't? But anyway, I thought he totally outcoached Avery, even though.
Who has it in your mind?
No. But what I'm saying is Alabama won the game,
right?
But the better team. They had the most talent, but the most well-coached team didn't win. Right. I watched the game, okay? It was close because Dan Hurley was bleeding a turnip over there. He didn't have any NBA players, but he had really good players who bought in. I believe he was at Wagner before that. So he's done a great job at every level he's been overachieving, and then he finally got the break to go to a place like UConn with all those resources, and you see how good Dan Hurley is. So he's one of the best coaches in America, but I just can't ever root for UConn because I hate them.
Got to get a break in. When we come back,
I don't hate Dan Hurley, but I hate UConn.
Brad Underwood talked about recruiting overseas. Did
he have an interpreter with him?
He did not, because he speaks English.
Whatever.
We'll talk. We'll hear from him. Dusty May talks about recruiting and how much easier it is now to recruit versus.
It's easy. Hey. Fab Five, whoever, somebody, Jalen Rose, Jimmy King, somebody call somebody. I need $4 million to go get Yaxel. Somebody go get me Yaxel. We'll be fine.
We'll hear from them. We got to preview. We'll talk more about that. It's good stuff, folks. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Travel accommodations for 97.7 ESPN The Zone provided by University Kia. Check out our latest zone deal.
Field Day. With spring break coming up, there's no better way to save some money and stay in town at Huntsville's go-to spot for fun, flavor, and unforgettable memories. Whether you're here to watch the big game or create your own memories, it's Field Day, our latest zone deal.
Just head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. Zone deals on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
shop. You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Eat, drink, compete. Welcome to Field Day, Huntsville's go-to spot where every day feels like a win. Catch the big game or create your own with chef-driven bites, craft cocktails, self-serve beer, and games that keep the fun going. And don't miss happy hour. 50% off drafts and appetizers, plus $5 margaritas and wells. Life's better when you play, so grab your friends and make it a win at Field Day, University Drive, Huntsville.
I'm Bill Crawford, the host of The Point with Bill Crawford. Tune us in Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Talk Radio WZZN.
I know you've been worried about what's happened in the past, but I'm here to tell you now, darling, it isn't gonna last.
Well, you can say that about college recruiting right now. It's not going to last. Spending money and all that other kind of fun stuff. Not going to last. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Dusty May, head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. You know, a lot of coaches say right now that, man, it's just so hard sometimes to recruit. You know, it's a tough time in athletics. Michigan head coach says, you know what? It's pretty easy right now compared to what we used to do. Just listen to this.
Recruiting wasn't near as difficult last year as it was the first year, and hopefully each year as recruiting becomes more niche and we have an identity and a brand that people choose us. And I think that's, we talk about the transfer portal and all this other stuff. I think now more than ever, we used to choose players and we used to convince them to come play for us, whether it's because we were showering them with attention or we showed them more love or we'd simply been recruiting them longer. In our opinion, we always thought those were pretty shallow reasons to choose a university because a coach came to more 6 a.m. workouts, things like that. And now the players, and each coach may have a different opinion, but the players are choosing us. And when we make contact with the player, the first thing they do is slide into the DMs and the messages of all of our players that we coach currently and the players that we've coached in the past. And they do more homework and intel on us than we do on them. And so I know that's spinning in a number of different directions, but just recruiting's changed so much. And I'm going to echo Coach Barnes from Tennessee last week. It's not that bad. We used to recruit guys for 3 years and spend 80, 100, 200 man hours away from our families begging these 15 to 18-year-olds to come play at our university, and then they decide to go in another direction, and you just think of all the time and resources you've wasted.
Look, man, they want the check. That's all it's about. It's not about, sliding into the DMs and how do you coach a kid and all that.
Yeah.
That's why it's so simple.
The reason why they're coming to you is because they want the money.
Because if your ass was still at Florida Atlantic, you built a great program that nearly played for a national championship, but we all know that a lot of those guys would be bailing to go to other places because you couldn't pay them enough.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Yes. You wouldn't get Yaxel.
That's why it's so streamlined and easy.
You wouldn't have your big guy.
With your brand and your NIL budget.
Yeah.
You can just say, hey, dog, what's it going to take?
Yeah.
What do we need?
Yeah.
That's why you got Yaxel. You didn't get Yaxel.
There you go.
Because you're just such a tremendous coach in university. And I do think Dusty May's a hell of a coach, by the way.
Right. No, that's not taking a slight at him.
I'm not taking a slight.
But if you offer him $5 million, $4 million, or whatever to come play for you,
and by the way,
it makes you a little bit more easier.
Offered Yax $8.5 million? Absolutely freaking not, because because then Yaks would be at Kentucky and they would have at least been playing on the second weekend, because there's no way on God's green earth here on Good Friday, I'm not going to tell a lie here, there's no way Axel Lindenborg turns down $8.5 million to go to Kentucky. Do you understand me? Don't sit here and try to make me feel like I fell off a turnip truck here. I did not fall off a turnip truck. You're lying through your teeth. It's about as true as saying, well, Alabama didn't recruit me. Yes, Alabama did call, but Alabama didn't have $3 or $4 million to pay you, dog. And then Auburn thought
Auburn had $1 million.
They had him for $1 million.
I didn't even get him a seat at the table.
And then it grew 3 or 4 times. And then there you go.
Yeah.
And it was a great investment for Michigan because obviously he may be the best player left in this tournament.
Yes. But let's not get it confused. And Dusty May, I mean, obviously, look, there's some coaches that love that aspect of going and watching kids play and doing that recruiting that way. They love that aspect.
It's all
of building the relationships.
You have to be able to communicate and coach kids hard, but most of it is transactional.
Yes.
Do not get it twisted. Next quote.
All right, the other one that is worth listening to is Illinois talking about getting foreign players.
United Nations Illini.
Yes. What was the clothes back in the day? United Colors of... Oh, boy. I'll look it up here. But anyway, Brad Underwood talking about getting and how it came to be that Illinois just became an
United
overseas
Nations university.
Yes.
Well, I've always loved them. I've had them. I started back when I was at Western Illinois recruiting internationally. Orlando Antigua, obviously on our staff, has got tremendous international connections. We've had them early at Illinois, from all over, and then that's just continued. NIL has helped open some of those doors, and when Orlando left, and Jeff Alexander basically took over, the Euro market was something that we were interested in. We knew we needed positional size. We knew we were recruiting shooting. They do it as well as anybody in the world, in my opinion. And Jeff has spent many trips going over there, developing relationships, and now Orlando comes back, and we've just invested heavily in doing that. We believe in it.
Many trips. Many trips.
They obviously got some nice boosters that pay for a lot of flights. And Orlando Antigua's a great recruiter. Couldn't coach his way out of a sandbox, but he's a great recruiter. Always has been. Watched him play at Pitt years ago.
Yeah.
He's always been a bag man.
Well, now he's a legal bag man.
Yep.
And he's got, what did we call, what are they called now? The Illinois, was it the Bosic 5 or whatever?
The Baltic 5?
Baltic 5, yes. I think it's called the Baltic 5. Yeah, the Balkan 5. That's what they're called, the Balkan 5 for Illinois. Let's get a break in. When we come back, the only one we've not checked in on is Arizona. And the conversation there was, will you or will you not, or have you entertained? He asked him this yesterday about how he's dealing with the rumors of the North Carolina job being open while at the Final Four. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care. Specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer. She's on the honor roll. She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way. No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Well, I came into the world on New Year's Eve. As soon as I got here, I was ready to leave, but I was born to boogie woogie. I was born to boogie woogie. And when you're born to boogie woogie,
so you guys have not heard of Microwave Dave and the Nukes. Now that you've heard him coming back from break, what do you think?
Been around a long.
He's been around a long time.
Yep.
I've heard enough. I think. I don't know. I want to find another album because I can only find one album on YouTube.
Okay.
So I only have one thing to pick from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He was a fixture.
Yep. He was. All right, 256-576-4977. One of the biggest names mentioned for the North Carolina head coaching vacancy is the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats.
Yeah.
Obviously, they take on Michigan tomorrow in the Final Four. Mm-hmm. And our last Final Four coach to hear from was asked about how he's dealing with his name being connected to the North Carolina job while trying to get ready for the Final Four.
Listen, I got my full focus on this team. Nothing is distracting me. And that's just how I've decided to approach it. I'm excited. I thought we had a really good practice today. I'm excited to plan for a practice tomorrow. And Myron, you've got to know me over the years. I'm a simple guy. I'm kind of just one thing at a time. I'm not a multitasker. You can ask my wife. So I'm 100% locked in on Arizona basketball right now. And I'm excited to see what this team can do. I have a real strong belief in this team. And this team deserves my full attention. So that's what I'm giving them.
and that means right after we lose, whether it's on Saturday or if we win Saturday, play Monday, whether we win or lose Monday. As soon as right after the game, within an hour, I'll be on a Zoom call with North Carolina, seeing what they offer me and maybe going to meet with them because I hate my athletic director and she's driving me insane and she's going to have to make me a bunch of promises if I want to stay here. And if she does make me those promises, I will probably stay. If she hem-haws around and North Carolina shows me the money, I'm out of here. That's exactly what that meant.
You think so?
But here's my opinion.
Right.
I think that he'll very likely stay. I think she'll stop hem-hawing, get her head out of her butt, and get him locked down. And then North Carolina will do what they should have been doing the whole time and pouring everything into getting Billy Donovan once the Sad Sack Bulls end their season in about a week and a half, when Billy will be completely free. And then you got to get him locked down because I think he's still one of the best coaches in the country and would be as soon as he came back to college basketball, would be in the top 5.
I'm sorry, but is Arizona just as good of a job as North Carolina?
No, it is not, but he's a West Coast guy. And especially if they win the national championship, you don't want to look that damn stupid that you're so inept that your coach would leave a program where he's got Caleb Holt coming in, who is co-MVP of the McDonald's game. Great players. He's got international connections, and yet you're going to see him walk to North Carolina, which is a better job. But look, Arizona can be one hell of a job too. Lute Olson was there for a long time.
That's why I'm
Miller
thinking
was there for a long time. That's why if they win the national championship, you better dang well make sure that he doesn't walk out the door, because otherwise the athletic director should immediately be fired for ineptitude.
That's why I'm thinking, because of the way college football or basketball is right now, the landscape of college athletics, it's been a conversation. And it's been a conversation because Rick Pitino brought it up, that there really is no such thing as a college blue blood anymore because of the way everybody can be so competitive in the portal. Yeah. That is Arizona just as good of a job as North Carolina because of that fact.
It's not a top 5 job, but I would say it's a top 10 job. I would agree with Jeff Goodman there. And Jeff Goodman went to frickin' Arizona.
Right.
So I think it's a top 10 job. It's a great job. It's a job you can be a destination and stay there.
Right.
Okay. And now we know Bill Self's coming back to Kansas for at least one more year. That job is not going to be open. So, but if Tommy Lloyd, this is a great team he's put together. They're my pick to win it all. And if they do win it all, then I think he should be locked down and given carte blanche or whatever he needs. Otherwise, the athletic director should be fired for malpractice.
If they win the national title and he goes to North Carolina.
About that, not about Greg Byrne, but Joseph Goodman is a muckraker from AL.Dumb who I don't respect. I do respect Thomas Ashworth. I do respect Ben Thomas. I do respect Nick Kelly. I wouldn't piss on Joseph Goodman if he was on fire.
If he wins a national title and then goes to North Carolina because the Braves could not, or because the Wildcats in Arizona could not get it done, that would be something.
That just can't happen.
That would be something.
That's a fireable offense for the athletic director if you can't keep a coach who just won the 2nd national championship in your history. I'll be honest with you. I think it's fireable if he loses in the Final Four and you can't hold on to him. Because, again, the dude has never left the West Coast for a reason. He loves it out there. So stop harassing him and give him the money he needs and figure out who the hell your Ed Martin is, or your who's the guy at the guy at Texas Tech. There's got to be somebody Arizona can call.
McCausland or Grant McCausland, I think is.
No, that's the basketball coach. I'm talking about the booster.
The rich ass dude,
Calhoun or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
C squared.
Texas Tech booster, Cody Campbell. Cody Campbell.
They've got to have a C squared out there in Arizona that can come up with the cash to get him to stay. Because now Arizona does not have the quote unquote money that North Carolina does, but it's still a great place to coach. And they have a great fan base. And They should have good enough NIL and a good enough infrastructure. If you're getting players like Caleb Holt and great players like that, and you have the overseas connections that Tommy Lloyd has, and you help Mark Few build Gonzaga into a program that has nearly won a national championship, you can't afford to lose him to North Carolina.
Ken Coit, Ken Coit or whatever, he's a significant high-level donor to Arizona Athletics. He committed $5 million to support the NIL initiatives, which includes basketball.
Well, that's where
that's one guy. That's just one guy in Arizona. Richard Jefferson has donated $3.5 million. He donated the money to help get the practice facility.
Nice.
Arizona getting money. They've obviously got some money to compete, and obviously they've put together a roster to get them to the Final Four. And bring in Caleb Holt, which is, not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
All right, one more hour to go. We're going to talk some softball coming up.
Now is the time to sign up for the Eagle Installation WZZN Charity Golf Tournament to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This year's event is the morning of April 20th at Cherokee Ridge, and each member of the winning team not only gets the championship belts, but a full year membership to Cherokee Ridge. Breakfast and lunch are provided, plus tremendous prizes and a chance to win $100,000. Cost is $800 a team or $200 per individual, and corporate sponsorships are available. Send an email to 977WZZNevents@gmail.com to reserve your spot today.
Westwood One presents Great Moments in Tournament History, brought to you by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer.
The year Butler finally did it. A script so good, it could have been a movie. After several years of knocking on the door, Butler came crashing through in 2010 and made a historic run that captivated college basketball. Gordon Hayward led the mid-major Bulldogs past more heralded schools en route to an unlikely berth in the Final Four.
Second free throw, no good. Rebound, Hayward has it for Butler, and this ball game is over. And Butler, yes, Butler will play for a national championship on Monday night. Butler defeats Michigan State.
But the Bulldogs couldn't complete the Hollywood ending, falling just short to Duke in the final, 61-59. Nevertheless, Butler's memorable march is another great moment in tournament history.
97.7 The Zone.
Oftentimes, the wheelchairs our veterans and first responders receive from their healthcare providers are subpar at best. Some are falling apart, with a years-long waiting list for a new one. This lag causes a tremendous amount of stress for our heroes and creates a burden for their caregivers. Isolation leads to depression. We build what they need to get outdoors, hunting, fishing, or playing sports. Join the mission at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
This hour of Talkin Ball is brought to you by Hyundai Decatur, located on the Beltline.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Coming up, time to bring in, we were talking with Josh. When we had Josh Pate on to kick off hour number 2, Josh told us that he was in attendance last night for
Behind
the
the plate.
Alabama-Texas softball game.
Yep.
And obviously, Alabama has had a lot of success, early success on the softball diamond. Texas comes in defending national champs. I mean, they're playing really good softball. Both teams playing really good softball, and this was a high-level match last night inside Road Stadium.
Well, I mean, it reminds me of the Oklahoma series last year at home where Alabama won 2 out of 3 in Tuscaloosa. But, this series didn't start the way they wanted, but it's the number 1 team in the country. It's the defending national champion, Texas, who vanquished Oklahoma last year. And certainly the Alabama team, I don't know if you can call them a surprise, but I think they've been a really good story and start to this season.
Right.
This is only their 3rd loss overall and only their 3rd in the Southeastern Conference. So this is a top 5 team in the country, top 4 in some polls. And this is probably the top series. This is the top series in college softball this weekend. And our next guest wears a lot of hats for the University of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports Network. He's been calling some baseball via the radio and television airwaves, and he's also been doing softball. We've had him on many times to talk Bama softball and even the national softball picture because there's not anyone more well-versed, and that is the color analyst for the Crimson Tide softball program, Gray Robertson. And Gray has been kind enough to join us and talk some Bama softball this morning as we delve into this series and then Alabama, how they respond from the adversity from yesterday. Gray, welcome to the show. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
I am fantastic. It is a beautiful day in Tuscaloosa, a little cloudy, but, we got a little bit of a wait until Game 2 tonight. So I'm excited to kick the feet up and watch other games and see how other people are doing.
Well, and how I've got to ask because you've broadcast many Bama softball games with our good friend Tom Canterbury, but there's just something different. It was different last week in Bama baseball when they had Auburn under the lights, and it was just a tremendous atmosphere. How is Rhodes under the lights?
Oh, fantastic! And we were on the TV side last night, me and Kaylee Tao. And
Gotcha.
Pre-game, I look at her and I go, I'm getting that feeling. Like there's just a buzz that you get at Rhodes right before a big matchup. I got the same feeling for Oklahoma last year. I've gotten the same feeling when top 10 Tennessee has come in, or the big series with Florida. And last night you could kind of feel that too. And unfortunately, the game, for Alabama, the game just didn't meet the moment, and Alabama's team didn't meet the moment. But the atmosphere at Rhodes, I mean, I think tonight is going to be pretty rocking, and it'll be up to the team how they utilize that.
Yeah, Patrick Murphy saying after the game that, the pitching, the offense was not what we had seen from Alabama so far this season from last night. Was that more of, do you think Alabama maybe pressing maybe a little bit against Texas, or was just Texas really that good from in game one?
And before Gray responds, I thought Patrick Murphy's quote was interesting. He called it being punched in the face.
Yeah, I would say Texas is that good, first of all. I mean, they are super talented. Now, do I think that they're 8 runs better than Alabama? Not really. But right. I think that last night they certainly were, and Coach Murphy is exactly right. And he told us pregame, Cal and I go and we talk with both coaches. We talked with Mike White, who was cracking jokes, and we love talking with Coach White, and he's a great guy. And then we go over and we talk with Murph, and the first thing he tells us is, look, we know they're going to punch us in the face, and we got to get up and respond because they've got the bats and the firepower to hit just about anybody that they see. And I think it just kind of shocked the team to see it in real time. Now, I don't want to speak for the players, but it just felt like that home run in the first inning totally shifted the energy in the building, totally set the tone for the rest of the night, and was kind of like all right, this is real moment for the team. And unfortunately for them, they did not answer the way that you would like for them to. They had some chances, but Texas, to their credit, did what great teams do, what Coach Murphy always preaches. I think because of how much they respect Alabama, they said, we are not going to just rest on the 5 runs we've scored in the first 5 innings. We're going to keep adding. We're going to keep putting traffic on the base paths. We're going to keep trying to pound you into the dirt. And Alabama just was not able to really get their footing in the game at all last night.
Yeah, and it was really I would say she's had a little bit of adversity, but it was really the first big-time adversity we've seen from Jocelyn Brisky, who has seemed this season so far until last night to have taken her game to another level. Great.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, she's had some big moments this year, but this was kind of the first time where it felt like a couple pitches weren't working.
Yeah.
And also, you also had Texas hitting good pitches, and I think that didn't help matters either. So her changeup was either in the dirt or a little too high. Texas was hitting those and kind of teeing off. But then also there was a really good changeup to freshman National Gatorade Player of the Year Hannah Wells for Texas, and she somehow, even though she was way out in front, was able to keep it fair down the left field line and roll up a double. And then you had the first home run again to Vivi Martinez. It's a drop ball. It's maybe slightly elevated on the inner half, but it's a good pitch. It wasn't a fatty over the middle that Texas, is going to pound if you throw that. It was a good pitch on the inner half that was maybe a quarter of a ball higher than you want it to be. And she just tattooed it with a laser out to center field. And I think that certainly didn't help matters, because I don't think Brisky pitched poorly last night. I just think Texas found spots, barreled up some good pitches, and certainly cashed in when there were mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing we've seen from Alabama in their SEC series so far is that they've found a way to win every series. Mm-hmm. And obviously tonight's a big night for that. If Alabama wants to be able to be in position to take this series at home, what's the biggest difference then from game 1 to game 2, do you think that Alabama has to do?
I think, first off, I think that they've got to be the one that sets the tone. My key, I had a bunch of keys coming in. It's a big series. There are a lot of things that'll determine how it goes. But now my key tonight is win the first inning. If you're Alabama, you cannot by any means let Texas grab the lead going into the bottom of the first, and let them keep applying pressure. And then I think another aspect is Alabama's got to grab momentum back when Texas gets it. That was another thing that we highlighted coming into this series. You knew, as great as Alabama's pitching staff has been this year, that Texas would score. And what they do better than anyone else, and we have the math to back it up, is what we call the response stat. I talked to Coach White about it. He calls it the answer back inning. They find a way to score immediately after the opponent does at a clip of about 75%.
Wow.
And that to me is a momentum-based stat. So it forces the opponent to be on their heels. And even when they score and they feel like life is good, Texas immediately throws a punch back, and now you're on your heels again. Texas did that the one time Alabama scored last night. Alabama had 6 chances to answer Texas and did it once. You've got to win the response stat tonight if you want to win this game, just because that'll help control the flow of the game and kind of keep the game script in Alabama's favor.
And you have to credit, Texas and Tegan Kavan for how she pitched yesterday. And silencing what I think is a really deep and improved lineup for Alabama. The offense this year has been much improved, I think, up and down the lineup. We've seen players get better, and they have depth too. It's not just the starters. They've got some interchangeable parts. But your thoughts on Alabama offensively up to this point, and what they need to do to maybe adjust to Texas tonight and get the bats going.
I think the offense is massively improved, but I still kind of chuckle in one area. We have the off the wall segment on Out of the Box, and that's where we kind of highlight some social media comments that we necessarily believe are incorrect and or are factually wrong. And last night I saw a comment that said, got to hit offense wins championships, and I actually think last night showed exactly why pitching is still the thing that wins championships, because I don't know what offense is hitting the Tegan Kavan I saw last night with the changeup that she had working and the way that she mixed her drop and her rise. That being said, Alabama today against either Citlali Gutierrez or Hannah Wells, who I suspect will be pitching, they've got to be secure in their plan. And with Hannah Wells, you know what you're getting. She's 70% drop ball, 26% off-speed curve, and then a mix of other stuff for that last 4%. But for the most part, it's hard down, and then 60 kind of all over the place. because Hannah Wells' curveball is so floaty and so spinny. If you watch where Reese Atwood is set up, she's just like, I'm just here, and I will catch it wherever it goes. So Alabama's got to figure out what to sit, what they're looking for tonight. I would presume the drop ball, and really focus in on making a good swing on that pitch. And I think that this offense is very, very capable. Brooke Wells is an excellent hitter who last night just did not have her stuff. I really thought last night, as bad as it was for Alabama, Lex Papillo showed exactly what I'm talking about. She was hunting rise ball, and she got on top of a couple and had some good swings. Anna Roman did that as well. Ambry Taylor got on top of a rise as well. They executed, but you've got to get better execution 1 through 9 and better follow through on the game plan that you have coming in.
Yeah, and when you get up to the plate, I mean, coaches will say, softball coaches will say, just don't be afraid. I mean, it's stay doing what you do, because if you start second guessing yourself up there, that's when you just give them all the advantage.
Right, and especially with Tegan, I mean, because she does such a great job throwing through the zone. There's a reason that she had an ERA of 0 last year in the Women's College World Series. Like, she has been able to develop that rise ball into a true weapon. She's got more of the drop ball now. That was not something she was throwing last year, and so that's how she's kind of developed her game. And if you go up doubting, then all of a sudden you're at 2 strikes and you're trying to protect. And it is very, very hard to protect when you're getting 3 very different types of pitches thrown at you and you're just fighting to stay alive in the box.
And then tonight in the circle, I think we'll very likely see Vic Moten. She got off to such a tremendous start. Now, she's had some bumps in the SEC, but could this potentially be maybe a watershed moment for her? We've seen it during pitchers' careers at Alabama in big moments in the SEC. It's when they truly come of age. She is a freshman from Daphne, but talk about Vic Moten and what you've seen out of her, and maybe her chances tonight to match up with Texas.
I'm excited to see her on this stage because, you know, she has performed against elite offenses, and I think that she's ready. You know, but you're going to need the Vic Moten that you got when Alabama was at Florida State, and not the one that you got against Arkansas. And what I thought Vic did so well against Florida State was utilizing both her rise and her drop at high velocity with massive break, and then hitting her spots. And her mistakes against Florida State were not harmful. You know, I will take a pitch back to the backstop every day of the week instead of a pitch right over the middle in the SEC. Throw it in the dirt, throw it 20 feet and let it roll in. That is a much better mistake to have to a hitter in the SEC than something over the middle. And unfortunately, in SEC play, we've seen Moten's mistakes be a little bit more plated, and that's why teams have kind of been able to pound it. But her stuff is good. I think she's got the right mental makeup. I think that last night is the type of night, and she's the type of kid that is going to really rev her up and fire her up, and she's going to kind of relish the opportunity. But also, you just have to execute. Like, you can be fired up all you want. You still have to execute to a high level to beat this Texas offense, because last night, I think, kind of showed why they're so good. You know, Reese Atwood was 0 for 4 with 2 Ks. Katie Stewart was hitless until a home run in the 7th. Caden Henry, you could argue a top 5 leadoff in the country. She was 0 for 4. And Texas put up 9 runs on you because everybody else did something. You've got to be on it 1 through 9, and that'll be a big test for Vic. But I think she's ready. I just am excited to see how she handles that stage. And she also, you know, will need help. She can't do it by herself, and so the offense has to have her back too.
Gray Robertson joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, talking a little Alabama softball as they get ready for Game 2 of that 3-game series with Texas tonight. Gray, we talk about how big of a series this is. I mean, Alabama's already faced number 6. They've already had a number 6 Arkansas in the series. 10 SEC, 10 of the 16 teams ranked inside the top 25. You've got, 7 of those 10 or 6 of those 10 ranked inside the top 8. I mean, it doesn't matter what weekend it is. It's a big series in SEC softball, but SEC continuing to be really strong.
Yeah, and I think a little more top-heavy this year, which is interesting because the last few years we've seen the winners of the league do it with 6, 7, even 8 losses. I don't think that's going to work this year because we've seen more sweeps. We've seen the top teams handle business a little better. And so I think 4 or 5 is probably what you're going to end up with. But you're going to see a lot of SEC teams be top 8 national seeds. I'm sure when y'all have me back in a month, I'll go over the bracket packet and we'll talk all about where everybody's getting slotted and what the numbers tell me. But right now the numbers are saying you're probably going to get at least 5 or 6 Supers hosts from the SEC and a couple other teams like a Georgia, like an LSU, who will be in the mix to host a regional. And then I think what was interesting was, so we talk about top heavy and all that jazz. And then last week, Missouri, who was under 500, sweeps Auburn.
Yep.
And Ole Miss goes up to Knoxville and wins that series, which might have been one of the most shocking results I've tracked and covered in my 10 years following this sport and being a part of the media aspect of it. And we'll see if that continues or if that was a one-off. But you know you're getting good softball anytime you turn on an SEC matchup, and that has remained true here in 2026.
And then just 2 more questions. First, about a young lady from our backyard here. I've been very proud to watch her develop in her opportunities. She's not in the starting lineup every game, but she's taken advantage of her chances. Mari Hubbard, she's played third base for the Tide, and she's a Huntsville High grad, and I've been following her very closely. I thought she showed some flashes last year. She seems even more settled in, and I know that there's a lot of depth in this lineup. But she seems to have carved out a role as a quality piece this year, Gray.
Yeah, I love that kid. Mari Hubbard is awesome, and she's such a good, first off, defensive third baseman. I mean, she can make any play over there, and when she comes in and is hitting, you know she's reliable. And I love the joy that she plays the game with. You know, the home run against Florida State is so ingrained in my brain because of how she reacted when the ball got over the fence. First career home run. You can see the joy. She's doing kind of a, oh my gosh, I did it, hands in the air celebration as she runs around the bases. And she just comes with such a good attitude, and that's the kind of stuff that you want. And you want a kid like that who says, all right, what do you need? I'll do it, and I'll do it with a smile. Let's go. And I think that the kind of teammate that she is, the kind of player that she is, she's very impressive. Comes from a great family. Love getting to know her dad the last couple of years, and especially in the summer league, she came down and played in the FGCL, and Marty and I got to spend a lot more time together. Got to talk to her dad a lot, meet more of her family, and she's just got the right mindset. And I can't wait to see how she continues to blossom, because I think she also knows, and I think the coaching staff knows, like, you're going to need everybody at some point to do something massive if you want to make a run to the World Series and to a national championship. And so that means Madi's going to get her moment at some point, even if it's as a pinch hitter or even if it's as a starter after not starting early in the series or however that looks. And I think she will be ready for that.
Well, and speaking of being ready, you've given a couple keys, but what are Alabama's keys to trying to win tonight and give themselves a chance to win this series on Saturday?
I genuinely think the biggest thing is just holding the momentum, and honestly, get the crowd into it. I think that was the biggest bummer from the TV side last night, because we come in and we put a lot of work into that show, and our production team does such a great job, and we'd been putting together notes and storylines, and we've been ready for weeks, and the crowd just never got into it because they never really had a reason to, and that kind of made I said it last night to one of my buddies from ESPN. I called it no juice in the joint. Like, there is just no energy at Rhodes because Texas threw that haymaker and Alabama was not able to throw anything back that stuck. And I think tonight, if you're able to get Rhodes on your side, then that's an extra player in the lineup, an extra player in the field, an extra weapon that a pitcher has in the circle. And that to me, honestly, is, as big as anything Alabama can actually do execution-wise. It's to make a road environment feel like a road environment for Texas.
And so are you going to be on the TV or radio side tonight, Gray? What are you going to be?
I'm radio rest of the weekend. We got Beth and Michelle coming in, and they got in late last night, and we'll all be hanging out at Rhodes. I'm sure they're going to get 2 really, really good games, and Tom and I will be ready as well on the radio.
Always. Well, Gray, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. You do a great job. Nobody better when it comes to softball, and especially the University of Alabama.
Yep.
Have a great call tonight, and we appreciate the time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Let's get a break in, shall we? 9:20 on a Friday morning. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
It's softball time in Alabama, and the best place for your travel softball team is to play with USSSA softball. Not only for the best travel team tournaments, but for recreational softball tournaments all around the area, as well for your high school level softball team. Plus, the USSSA National Championship this year is at the Gulf Shore and Orange Beach and the Foley Softball Complex. Now, for more information, visit alfastpitch.uSSA.com. That's alfastpitch.uSSA.com.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Well, I'm walking up to Memphis and I'm looking for a Cadillac ride. Yeah, walking up to Memphis and I'm looking for a Cadillac ride. As the sun goes down, I picked a real good time to get the hell out of town. I'm walking up to Memphis and
Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond, welcome back in on a Friday morning. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll preview the Final Four from Indianapolis. Jaden Daly will join us.
Daily dose of hoops.
Yep. By the way, in case you really want to know, according to couple sports books, Michigan is a plus 150, Arizona a plus 185, Illinois plus 430, and UConn plus 650 to win the
basically,
national title.
What you're telling me is they're just saying that UConn or Illinois, even though one of them is going to have to play for it, just get the hell out of here. That the two best teams are
just like you heard there. Get the hell out of town.
The two best teams are Arizona and the Crookereens.
Well, I have something for Illinois or UConn.
Yeah.
I mean, since you're not going to win anyway, because everybody is telling you that even if you get to the national title game, you're not worthy, you're not going to win, just go to the Slippery Noodle.
Yeah.
Just walk across the street from Lucas Oil and go to the Slippery Noodle.
Pack in, get COVID, and go home.
Just go over there, ask for Marty. Ask for Marty.
Yeah.
Tell him we sent you.
Yeah.
And go to the Slippery Noodle, get yourself some food, because it doesn't matter if you play in the game or not. You're not going to win. And especially if UConn gets there,
and get
you're not from the Big Ten.
Sandwich bigger than a hubcap.
You're not from the Big Ten if you're UConn, so you're not going to win anyway, because the Big Ten is the greatest thing ever. They're the best conference in the world. You're not going to win, so you might as well just go to the Slippery Noodle.
I mean, heck, man. Those idiots in Columbus, even though Ohio State, they suck at basketball. They suck at everything but football, and even then they gag most of the time. Sucking and gagging are some of the same things. But, I've already been told that my impression of those schmucks has already been sent to them by Moulton and some other people, so they already know about the impression of a bunch of Yankee turds up there. But seriously, I mean, they already act like it's a foregone conclusion the Little Ten's going to win the national championship in basketball. Personally, I hope it's Arizona and UConn so I can laugh my ass off.
That would be good. Arizona, UConn.
But it may very well be Michigan and Illinois.
Very well be. It could be. I mean, Illinois does have a lot of size.
I will say this, if you put it in closed captioning, if it's Illinois and Michigan, you're going to need an interpreter. So
repeat the question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Repeat question. Did not understand.
Yeah, whatever.
That was one of the funniest things I'd seen on TV all the time.
There's still people talking about the Bediako thing like it's some sin against man. And you got all these SOBs with social...
he did sign a contract.
That are on Social Security coming over from Latvia, and they act like it's not the same thing. No, it's over there. It's the Euros, man. It's the Euros. It's not the same thing. He signed a contract with a two-way contract with the San Antonio Spurs, so he's a pro. But the pros in the U.S. and pros in over here and overseas, it's not the same thing. Shut up, you maggot. The hypocrisy is pathetic.
Well, let's get a break in. By the way, Dan, since 2023, UConn in the NCAA tournament, 17-1 with 2 national titles. They either get there and win it all, or they don't get there.
We're going to talk about that with Jaden Daly next. I mean, like Dan Hurley said, we're not here to get a watch. The watches are nice. But
I've always heard those watches, though, quit like after a year or two. They're so nice, they stop working after a year or two.
Well, hell, that's why you got to go get a battery.
Actually, though, because of my role with the swimming, they sent me, the NCAA sends me forms. I can buy those watches from the Final Four. I can buy the championship watches. And I get one if I want to buy it. They're not going to give me one. I can buy it for $285.
I was going to say, how much does it cost?
$285 for me to buy an NCAA watch.
And $285 for these clowns.
I've always heard they didn't last long. The joke, when Iowa would make the tournament, the Iowa players would always joke the fact that, they just don't last very long. But, I mean, they're great watches. They just don't last very long.
How can they give you a watch that's only going to last for a year?
That's what they were telling me.
$285.
Yes.
Usually the initial battery in a watch is for several years, okay? That should be worth the investment. But $285 for a year? Who's making these?
I don't know. I just know that, I can buy one. Anyway, let's get a break in. We'll talk Final Four when we return.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
for a Montreux watch. I know Dan Hurley said they're not there for the watches or whatever.
They're not down for them.
But the rings and stuff you can buy. I mean, I can get it. But, yeah, anyway. Final Four underway in Indianapolis tomorrow. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone again, your exclusive radio home for the tournament here in the Tennessee Valley. You'll be able to listen to the Final Four. But odds are, and the odds-on favorite to get to the title game and win it is Michigan, followed closely by Arizona. Illinois and UConn, though, do have a say in all of this.
Yeah, they do. And one of my favorite people's now with us. We usually catch up with him this time of year. He has a blog, The Daily Dose of Hoops. I connected with him many years ago when the Iona Gales played the Alabama Crimson Tide when Iona had Rick Pitino, when he was beginning his ascent back into the prominence in college basketball. Now, of course, he is the head coach of the Red Storm, just got a huge raise, got the Red Storm back among the prominent powers in college basketball. We probably should have had him on to preview that Bama-Hofstra game, and Hofstra gave Alabama all they wanted for a half. But Jaden Daly is joining us now, and we're going to talk some Final Four, UConn, which he's very well versed in, and UConn had the epic finish against Duke. And now we're looking at Dan Hurley trying to win 3 national championships in 4 years and become maybe the best coach in the sport. Maybe he already is. But we're going to talk to Jaden Daly. Jaden, welcome back to Huntsville. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
Drew, Scott, always a pleasure, guys. It's been way too long, and for you, Drew, as a Duke alumnus, I'm sorry that you had to sit through that on Sunday.
Well, I'm not an alumnus, but I'm a huge fan since '86, and certainly I was yelling at the TV. And ironically, Jaden, my cable went out, so I couldn't watch the majority of the game, but I certainly followed it. And of course, it came back on with 2 minutes to go, and we saw the complete and total meltdown end. But I got to give UConn credit more. I mean, Duke didn't execute, but UConn, you also have to win the game and make the play and make the shot, and they certainly did. And a lot of this magic that comes from Dan Hurley and his teams, they remind me a lot of Coach K when he had it rolling at Duke. They seem to have the same winner's mentality and just pedigree to step up in big moments.
Yeah, that's an excellent call. And UConn's led by 2 seniors, and Alex Caravan and Tarris Reed Jr., who don't want their careers to end. And in Caravan's case, win a 3rd national championship in 4 years, something that hasn't been done in a half-century by a player or a coach since John Wooden's UCLA team had their run in the 60s and 70s. And you can see that determination and that almost defiance to not have the end of their careers dictated by circumstances beyond their control. And that's what UConn's done the last 2 weeks, from losing the 19-point lead against Michigan State in the Sweet 16 to coming back and salted that game away, going down 19 in the first half against Duke, but just chipping away segment after segment, timeout after timeout to get themselves back in the game and have a say in the final matter. That championship DNA, that will of a champion, was on full display Sunday. And I expect the same thing on Saturday against the Illinois team that they've already played this season in November at Madison Square Garden the day after Thanksgiving. That was a game you could throw out for both sides because they were not, neither side was healthy in that game. Illinois had Keaton Wadler on a pitch count. UConn had Reed on a pitch count. Braylon Mullins made his debut in that game.
Interesting.
So conceptually, you can take some stuff out of it, but you really can't place any stock in the final result.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we are talking about UConn, they do match up with Illinois. Illinois, we saw them in the Elite Eight. Iowa gave them a good test, but Illinois' length, their size, and just being as big as they were just finally wore Iowa down there in the Elite Eight. How much of a size factor does Illinois have over UConn in the Final Four?
Well, the size is just about equal, but Illinois has it in a number of different places. Probably one of their best players, Andrei Stojakovic, and the Ivasic twins, who played for John Calipari at Kentucky and Arkansas, and now transferred into Illinois. So they have multiple big men that can burn UConn, especially if it's Harris Reed or an Eric Ribo, who's Reed's backup, the freshman 7-footer. If they get into foul trouble, then that's advantage Illinois, and they can just throw the ball on the post. Not necessarily a weaker UConn front line, but a smaller and maybe less physical, more finesse UConn front line if one of their forwards gets into foul trouble.
Yeah, and also I just think with Caravan, I mean, I love his game. Like, I could see it coming a lot of people aren't talking about this aspect of it, but Duke really had control of the game and had the ball up 5, but then a live ball turnover by Cameron Boozer led to the 3, and the really good stuff that Dan Hurley ran. They ran him off a screen. And I'll be honest, as soon as Caravan caught the ball, I knew he was going to make it. He's just made plays like that his entire career. And then that led to cutting it to 1. Then certainly Cameron got the bucket to put him up 3. But the wheels were kind of already in motion for UConn for that comeback, Jaden.
Yeah, and there were people up by me that thought Boozer should have been called for travel on that bucket too.
Yeah.
Backed up by 3.
Right.
After Caravan hit the 3 to cut it to 1, and then next thing you know, Silas Demery splits a pair of free throws, and it's a 2-point game. Then you have the questions of, well, maybe Jaden should have just held the ball and drawn the foul, and then you have the way the final 10 seconds played out.
Yeah, and your thoughts too. You're more well versed in Rick Pitino than anyone. Rick has made we talked about the comment earlier in the show that he said the blue bloods are really no more, and he's coached at 2 of them, in my opinion, in Kentucky, and even you can consider Louisville that. He's reviving St. John's, and he said really because of NIL, the portal, there really aren't any blue bloods anymore. We saw that he, of course, knocked Kansas out, who is considered one. But I've said this about Rick. I can see this building. If he does what I think he could do, I know he's 73 years old. When he took the job, he talked about taking it for 5 to 6 year period. But if he can get St. John's back to the Final Four and even potentially win it all, I know Coach K's won 5 rings, but I think it separates Rick as the best coach of this generation, winning a national championship at 3 different places.
Yeah, that would be hard for almost anyone to top. Rick is already the only one that's ever done it at 2 different schools between Kentucky and Louisville. If he could take St. John's to that stage, and nothing against St. John's or its history, which as an alumnus who isn't necessarily connected as a fan, because I grew up rooting for UNC, but as someone who's been around St. John's, knowing his history, if Pitino can take that program there, I do think that cements his legacy and would be his all-time greatest coaching job and maybe one of the best in the history of the sport.
Yeah,
you look at what they did this year, going to the Sweet 16, winning, I think it was 20 of their last 22 games, or 21 out of 23 this year.
Yeah, and what they did against UConn, yeah. I mean, I know they took a beating from them, but they also handled them.
Well, right back in the Big East Championship.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, for me, Rick is amazing because I know he's been in the game for 50 years, but I don't see his energy level changing at all. I think he's still got his fastball and has kept it. It's amazing to me the longevity of his career and the consistency.
It is. He's going to be 74 in September. He's got more energy than me, and I'm going to be 40 in August. So that tells you a lot right there.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of attention on that Michigan-Arizona game because, I mean, the odds makers have these two as neck-and-neck favorites to win the national championship. A lot of people believe that this may be the national championship game because, no disrespect to Illinois and UConn, a lot of people not giving those two teams chances if they get whoever gets to that championship game. Arizona and Michigan, how good of a game do you think this one really will be?
It's going to be an excellent game. It reminds me a lot almost of the UConn-Duke game in 2004, which was, in a lot of people's eyes, the precursor to the national championship, which ended up being UConn-Georgia Tech. But you look at Arizona, you look at Michigan, 2 of the best offenses in the sport, the 2 best defenses in the country as well. Nobody talks about how strong either side is defensively just because of the personnel they have on offense. Arizona doesn't take a lot of threes. They do a lot of its damage inside the arc. They'll tough 2 you to death, as I like to say. They'll take range jumpers and long 2s. Michigan's size is something that they'll have to shoot over, but Michigan's also susceptible to turning the ball over as well, which is why I like Arizona in a slight, maybe 4 or 5 point win. But it's going to be a great game. It might be one of the best games we've seen all year. Reminds me a little bit also of the Florida-Auburn game last year as well.
Yeah. We're talking to Jaden Daly, Daily Dose of Hoops. Who do you like? Do you think it's going to be UConn and Arizona? Who do you like in both? You said you like Arizona slightly over Michigan. Who do you like in the UConn-Illinois matchup?
I do think it'll be UConn-Arizona. I think UConn gets by Illinois. Just being around UConn as much as I have this season, now you're starting to see culmination of the run and the realization that this is what it comes down to, and veterans aren't going to be denied. You can't put a price on that time of year going into the Final Four, going into the national championship. And it sets up an interesting rematch because UConn and Arizona played in November.
That's right.
UConn played that game without Braylon Mullins and without Terrence Reed and almost beat Arizona. They only lost by 4 at home. It's an entirely different animal, entirely different atmosphere, and two different teams 4.5 months later. But I think it'll be UConn and Arizona Monday night.
And then I value your opinion so much. Is it accurate what I said? He may already be, but if Dan Hurley gets this done, is he the best coach in the sport?
You could definitely make a case for him. I won't say definitively because you still have Rick Pitino. You still have Bill Self, who has 2 national championships of his own in Kansas. You still have so many Tom Izzo, who's been at Michigan State for over 30 years. Hurley is definitely in that class. I do think the third title would give him a leg up, but I'm not gonna definitively say he. As much as I love him, and as much as I've been blessed to get to know him over the years, I wouldn't necessarily call him the best in the sport just yet.
And now I've got to ask you, because you even said, like myself, I've been a Duke fan for a long time. You grew up a fan of UNC. Where do you see this coaching search going? It seems to be revolving now. I don't think Dusty May is in it. I think it seems that the people that I trust, it's Tommy Lloyd, it's Billy Donovan. I would love to see Billy there and come back to college basketball, but how do you see it playing out?
I don't think Dusty May has a hand in it either. I don't think he's taking the job. But listening to Tommy Lloyd yesterday and the way he answered the North Carolina questions, or he didn't give a definitive yes or no, kind of feels like Roy Williams in 2003 when he was on the stage with Kansas to get to the title game and then having to ultimately deny it after the national championship and then going to Chapel Hill like 3 or 4 days later. I see Lloyd probably being the guy. Timing with Donovan doesn't work out as well because the NBA season ends on the 12th, and then the portal is closing a few days after that. So it's just probably too much ground to overcome if it's Donovan. I do think if Tommy Lloyd turns it down, they'll have to go to maybe a Ben McCollum at Iowa, maybe a Grant McCasland at Texas Tech, or a Mark Byington at Vandy. So maybe a second-tier candidate in the eyes of the program and the fan base. But right now, I think it's Tommy Lloyd's to turn down. And if he does definitively, then we'll see where they end up.
Well, and then, Jaden, if Tommy takes the job, does Billy Donovan, is he a factor at Arizona?
No, I don't think so. I think if he does take a college job, if he wants one, it'll probably be either on the East Coast or if Kentucky opens up in the next year or two, that might be the only other place I can see him.
Well, great job, my friend. It's great to reconnect with you. Daily Dose of Hoops on X. Please give it a follow. Jaden Daly is well-versed with college basketball as anyone, especially when it comes to the Big East, the East Coast. He knows it all on the small college level, on the major college Power 4 level, the Big East everywhere. But, Jaden, we really appreciate the time, man. Thank you, and enjoy the Final Four.
Always a pleasure, guys. Love talking with you. We'll talk again soon.
All right, thanks, Jaden. Jaden Daly with us. Let's get that final break in. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care, no appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. When you're craving a juicy, made-to-order burger with all your favorite toppings, it's time to head to Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Fresh, never-frozen, hand-formed patties, crispy, fresh-cut fries, savory hot dogs, and topped off with an ice-cold real milkshake. Five Guys knows what you like. Come and get it in Huntsville on North Parkway and on Enterprise, and in Madison on Moonshot Drive and Highway 72. Order online at fiveguys.com or just walk in. Five Guys. Perfection every time.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
ESPN The Zone, very short time here. Major League Baseball last night, the Atlanta Braves
massacred the Diamondbacks.
It got so bad. This is what it sounded like on Diamondbacks broadcast. This is just how much fun they were having.
And Albies going to tack on one more. They're going to stop. It's 17-1, and that's ball one. That's a ball. That was the correct call according to the computers. Well, they're not wasting any time. They've batted around on just 17 pitches.
Good God Almighty.
17-1.
Well, my phone alerts me when the Braves are playing and they score, and I'm going to tell you what, it was going crazy last night around 11 o'clock. It just kept saying, it just kept 9-1, 10-1, 11-1, 12-1. I was like, good. And finally, I told somebody, hey, save some of that for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're beating them unmercifully.
Oh, Atlanta Braves get it done. Don't forget, though, we will have baseball and softball, the college variety for you all day today. Don't forget Alabama baseball. They get a win last night over Oklahoma 10-7. They're coming up at
Auburn
1 o'clock today.
Win.
Auburn got a home win over Arkansas last night.
10-2.
In SEC play, real fast, it was Mississippi State falling to Georgia. Georgia gets the road win last night, 10-9. South Carolina.
That was the biggest shocker of the night.
They beat Texas.
The Horns was down in baseball.
Yeah,
it was up in softball.
Yeah.
But the Horns took that ass whooping.
That was only
last
South Carolina's second conference win of the
9-1.
season. 9-1. Yeah, emphatically. They were up 6-1 after 3 innings was South Carolina. Vanderbilt knocks off Texas A&M on the road 14-8. Florida falls to Ole Miss, gets a road win over Florida last night 6-4. Alabama, we mentioned 10-7. Auburn was 10-2 over Arkansas. Now, Auburn is a 7 o'clock pitch or 6 o'clock pitch tonight. Alabama is a 1 o'clock pitch this afternoon against Oklahoma. We'll have that game for you on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You've got UAH baseball. You've got UAH softball. So make sure you have the 97.7 ESPN The app downloaded. 11:30 today, Les Studeman Field.
You're going to be alive out there, right?
I'm going to be out there. Not live, but I'll be out there for that at 11:30.
Yeah.
And then don't forget, we got the Final Four coming up your way tomorrow. We've got Auburn basketball Sunday night, NIT finals, and we'll have the national championship game for you Monday night right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And the Big Ten will be in the toilet.
Let's go Wildcats!
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try.